key here is that Atlanta is going to be just buying time, sort of weathering the storm, certainly the Pharah over the top. But at the same time, looking to contest point and finding moments where a 3-3 can strike at any time. Even if you're under pressure from the Pharah, you just have to find the right time to dive in, win the ground war. But for now, they're going to be spending a lot of time hiding in that right building.
Yeah, spending a lot of time hiding in the building. And a lot of this is going to be based off the coordination of the Discord from Saucy and the fallout from Hawk is going to be so important to maybe push one of these DPS heroes. You see right now, where's
goodbye!
the mercy? Where's the mercy for Olu?
Olu is in orbit! His jet boosters have malfunctioned. Hawk has sent him on a ride. He might not return.
Faz going to go for the res, going to die for the res.
Why?
Well, that's reset time. It's reset time for Mr. Phase 2. Time to go back. This is going to pick up Ajax, but that's fine because Ajax is on fast hero. He'll be back. A little bit of a misplay from Phase 2, I think. Faz is not with Olu. Olu comes back to just give the kill again to Hawk. He's like, okay, you know, the first time, that's fair. You know, let me give you another. You earned it. You earned it, Hawk. Here's a second frag.
You destroyed me so hard. You know what? Give me another one.
Questionable. Some questionable moments.
Another one.
Another questionable moment there. Phase 2 now going to come back for the offense. Hawk already having that Diva Bomb. Saucy also very close to the trance. Phase 2 look like they're just going to make the swap. They're not going to commit on this. They're just full swap at 3-3, which is I mean, it's good to do it earlier than later, but it really put themselves in a rough position because now they're at a huge disadvantage wise.
The thing is, the heavy DPS still works on point A. You can wait to swap on point B. Now they're at a way bigger risk of getting held on point A. It's why you don't usually see teams swap until after getting it. Self-destruct to the back from Hawk, well threaded, gets 2. Atlanta looking much more composed now than they did in the first half.
Good displacement from Ajax there. He flanks around all the way through the building from the right side for the right flank and moves the barrier for duplicate, so ensuring the bomb from Hawk gets value. Only having to use one ult there, it's fine because they're still going to be equal, pretty much equal in all the ults, still ahead overall. Atlanta, they're in a good spot. They're in a good spot right now for the defense.
Atlanta is absolutely fine, and again, you look at Phase 2, they're so behind in the economy game because they decided to go back to 3-3 after the DPS doesn't work on 2 pushes just in point A. It's a rough swap that usually isn't done, and it's for good reason, where just off this rally alone, Phase 2 back out. Or it's a good disengage, don't get me wrong, but it's just the first hurdle of many to get through.
Well, I think this is where the Phase 2 is now in a position where they're starting to equalize. The problem is they still aren't close to any of their big ults yet. They need to take a fight fast. The longer these rotations, the better it is for Atlanta, honestly, because Atlanta's already ahead overall in the ult game. So they need to be taking these fights fast so they can try to get an ult out, try to build out, try to get their own, and then just come back in.
Well, they're moving forward. They're trying to put pressure on the Gator. They're actually not getting as much onto the shields. Gator just going to shrug it off. Gator stepping up, drops the hammer. Olu on the ground. Here comes Hawk, cleaning up. It's Hawk versus Olu all day, every day.
And they are able to get the DMAC onto Hawk, but still a fight win. Onyx going to be going down late. And so I think it's the last chance for Phase 2. This is probably going to be last fight. And they have to, it's really just an all-out ult brawl now. The problem is that they have to get value out of their combo, and Pika doesn't have bomb yet. So it's really a lot is resting right now on Phase 2 on their supports to survive the combo play and to ensure that they can, in turn, get combo for Phase 2.
I mean, straight up right now, it means that Faz also, on moving in, sometimes he goes a little bit over aggro, needs to be sure that he doesn't die before beat gets dropped.
Yeah, desperately needs beat for this fight because it is going to be pretty much like 5 ults v5 ults, 5v6 ults.
Atlanta coming on in. Rally used, perfect, setting up with the grab. Grabs on both sides. Hawk holding on to his bomb, hasn't used it here just yet, waiting. Pika doesn't have a bomb to throw in. Phase 2 used the grab before the bomb was even ready. Pika just gonna throw this one to the sky. What's he gonna get? Absolutely nothing. Atlanta still in an absolutely good spot here.
Catching Gator,
Phase 2's, yep, Gator's down, but Phase 2 also very drained. Both teams, in fact, pretty drained. So Phase 2 has the ability to fight this back, but they're getting weak. Faz falls, ends up diving the perfect, and Atlanta winning this back. Down 1, didn't matter. Cleanup going Atlanta's way. It's gonna be a first point hold and a very easy victory condition for them as they look to finish out Volskaya.
Perfect just not getting touched on the flank, and he's playing tower defense. We see that a lot from Zarya's, where you can just sit still and just shoot, and you're getting too much value. And Perfect is getting so much value there on the flank post-fight. The ults have been traded. It was neutral again, and he's just sitting there just doing so much. There's no one to stop him. There's no one looking at him, denying that damage. However, Phase 2 did have a win condition. They do have a win condition. They got 61.7%.
Yeah.
So they have ability to win.
Yeah, I mean, Atlanta, they have to at least put together a semblance of a good offense here. They can't just be going, okay, we had a hold, we're fine. Because no, I mean, we've seen teams bring back from this very same position. The thing here for phase 2, again, is that you need to commit to certain things. I feel like one of the things you have to commit to in Overwatch is that if you're going to open up a point A assault with DPS, you see it out to the end.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I don't think so. I think if you know you're not going to get value out of it, you need to make the swap. I think if that's phase 2, recognizing that if they're not confident on it, you swap. And it's better to swap early than late. Because we saw it where in other teams in the past, even that miraculous, I guess. I sort of combined the words.
Remarculous.
The push from our last series where NRG gets that final cap, they made the late swaps after playing DPS for a long time. Actually, no, they weren't playing DPS. What am I saying? But we have seen it in the past where teams swap too late.
Yeah, I mean, swapping too late is another beast entirely. It just, generally speaking, when we see teams run DPS setups on point A, they are pretty effective at getting through. So the fact that you go DPS and then you go, it's absolutely not working, we need a swap, and you put yourself in that big of a hole, it's just tough to see.
No, I agree with that much. I think you should never be putting yourself on the triple DPS unless you're extremely confident in it. But it's also, if you know you're not getting value, it's better to swap than to force it.
It's fair. And speaking of swaps here, this sort of swap, this is fine, where you've not engaged in the fight yet, you've taken a look at the other team, and now you go, we want to run 3-3 versus 3-3. You've only given up 20 seconds. There's no alt economy penalty. This is a fine swap from Atlanta.
You see them moving very, very aggressively. Atlanta not even taking those long rotations. Instead of going through the door, they decide to move through the main choke proper, get early presence on duplicate, and now move to high ground. Sugar-free,
just, all right. That was a little bit too close for comfort.
Woo.
Very good poke from phase 2.
Extremely good poke. Still holding here on the choke. Duplicate 60% to that primal. Atlanta just building up their cooldowns again, getting ready to come back up. Force Duplicate off the high ground.
Oh, he's gone! Down. Absolutely devastated. Duplicate just gone.
Bye-bye, Duplicate.
And that was one thing that didn't need to happen to him. If he was able to get out, he would have a primal by this point. Faz, able to chase out Sugar-free. But being down Winston's still going to be pretty tough here for phase 2. And remember, point A is all this is about here. They cannot back up for really any reason. They have to be more aggressive than they would like to be here. They have to hold the line until Duplicate gets back.
They're doing a great job cycle contesting, though. They're just bouncing the Brigida, Olu off and on the point, while testing this high ground, sending Pika there. Duplicate's in. He has the primal. A lot of low players on Atlanta right now.
Yeah, Duplicate, this is where he can really play and have an impact. And, okay, Atlanta, they decide they want to invest the Transcendence here. The Primal Rage going to spook him a bit. I don't know if that was the right idea versus just dying and resetting, but it is what it is now, Atlanta. They're going to back up and reset, but down to Transcendence.
Yeah, I don't think using the Trance there is the right play. phase 2 doing a great job, able to contest the point long enough for Duplicate to come back. Now Atlanta moving back in here again. And really, they know their win condition. We've seen it previously. When you know your win condition, you just need to be trading value with ults, maybe getting 1 to force 2, or using none and just ecoing. Like, they really need to be watching their ult game here.
Well, speaking of the ult game, Atlanta's going to have combo, and really, Onyx needs to hold on here. Let Pika get this last 5%. Please do not use the grab under pressure here. Pika doesn't have it, and okay, Duplicate's down. He's going to grab. Comes out a little bit early. Pika's self-destruct might be in time. Over. No, not going to get the impact they want. Atlanta still totally fine. The barrier was in play. Gator under pressure here. They get a chance to heal up. Going to drop the Shatter. And no, get Shatter not dropped here. Just hanging on to it. Might not have to use it.
Gator does drop the Shadow, doesn't get much out of it though. However, it is phase 2. Slowly but surely falling on the point. They have no ults. Duplicate's coming back, but it's too little too late. That'll be the cap for Atlanta. That'll be the map. Atlanta going up 2-1.
Atlanta able to finish it out in the end, and interesting setups on both sides. Phase 2's offense obviously very much lacking, and I would say still, even though not perfect, Atlanta is looking more composed here, I would say.
I mean, they did the right play a lot of time when you're playing against that, and you just punish the Winston. And when the Winston's playing far away from his team, it's tough to get value from your support ults, especially the Trance when the grab's out. So the solo grab that came out, I think, was reasonable from Perfect. Just keeping Duplicate there, allowing them to clean him up, and opening up the fight from there. So because once you're down the main tank, you're in a much worse position. Your supports are more pressured to pop the ult. So overall, Atlanta, that solo pick was the right play. Getting Duplicate early in the fights previously, they had the right idea. Phase 2 just not able to keep Duplicate alive. Duplicate himself not able to keep himself alive.
Also, final fight very interesting coming out there for Phase 2 as well, where Pika struggled really hard to get that last 5%, where you looked at it, it was almost like he was just, time had stopped for him. It was at 95% for just a ridiculous amount of time, where I think Onyx would have liked to have gone for the grab more aggressively, but if you go for the grab thinking, okay, you're going to get the 5%, the D.Va doesn't, then it's totally wasted. And even then, the grab like comes out a little bit early, so I'm not entirely sure what's going on there, but Pika just like hit the biggest just drought of building ult charge.
Yeah, it was tragic. And they were in a bad position anyways, because without Duplicate there to force those bubbles early on the rotations, they had bubbles up. They had bubbles up for the bomb combo, so they couldn't pick up anyone even in the grab bomb either. So, and also, there was also still Gator being alive, so they still had that barrier as well. So it was just a really tough position to be in. So Atlanta just slowly winning it and making, I think, the right play to just focus one target and just win from there.
Well, we're going to be heading over to Gibraltar. Atlanta can put this one away. They can put this one in the books as a 3-1 should they take it here. Or Phase 2 could force a map 5 with a good showing. I think for Atlanta, even if this is a 3-1, it's a very thought-provoking 3-1 where they go back and, you know, this is a series that you probably do a little bit more VOD review on.
Yeah, for sure. And you need to be ironing out those mistakes because you can't be, even if it turns out like this is a 3-1 like we talked about for Atlanta, potentially at this map, it's still, after losing one map and having some close maps as well. I mean, I would even say that last map was still relatively close.
Yeah.
Against a team that's the bottom seed of your group, you have to be thinking about what your stance is going to be moving on to playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, and again, the reason why we talk about Atlanta in these terms that this is not supposed to be a matchup where, you know, it's both teams that are struggling and, you know, they're looking towards the future. Atlanta is supposed to be a front runner. And they're a team that we have seen in the past that have been remarkably good. In Phase 2, they've had some good moments here for sure, but this is the type of setup that usually Atlanta would win more decisively, and they've been taking the task.
See now Atlanta going to be holding pretty close on the ground on this corner. Gator on the Reinhardt. No Winston for either team. So the mirror matchup. So they're going to be fighting this corner very early, trying to stop the target, build up the whole presence.
Just staying here around the corner. Atlanta not wanting to give up too much here. It's going to be a long fight for Carwash, but Saucy already down. Nishik able to find him. Zen v Zen. Man advantage for Phase 2. Now just starting to snowball very heavily in their favor. That's great for Nishik.
I mean, that was a great right click from Nishik, and also a great counter engage from Phase 2 where they see the bubble come out. They were able to charge in very aggressively to Duplicate. So good reads. Atlanta just not prepared for that aggression, not prepared for that pick off from Nishik. I mean, sometimes it just happens. You didn't have the Matrix there, you didn't have the bubble. You just hit good shots. So Phase 2 moving forward, and they have to be feeling extremely confident right now because they control cart and they're pretty equal, if not ahead overall with ults, considering that there's a Duplicate.
They're in a very good spot here. Duplicate in a situation where he can just step up, drop the shatter. And he's looking at Gator right now. Shield pressure is going very heavy on him, so you don't want to do the classic, my shield's broken, I shatter under pressure.
Well,
his shield's broken, he shatters under pressure, but it actually connects on Sugar Free. So you know what? It works. Phase 2. Getting a pick off after that. Atlanta should have seen it coming. They didn't. And as a result, point A going the way of Phase 2.
That is, you know, if we're going to make an album for the Contenders, you know, for Overwatch League even, you know, it's like, I think that's definitely one of the mainliner songs. My shield's broken, I'm going to shatter under pressure. That is in the Overwatch current 3-3 GOATs album. We also have the, oh, my trance is too late, my Ryan's dead. You know, some other hit singles from the Overwatch team, so very, very good stuff.
This album now needs to become a thing. It is the greatest thing I have heard. But now, as we go in, Atlanta looking to come back in. Gonna be dropping on down immediately. Gator directly into the grab. Self-destruct, rolling right to the back. Not gonna connect as well as perhaps Phase 2 would have liked. Atlanta gonna power their way through. No barrier even required there, just Transcendence, keep people up and around in shields. Gator with the follow through, and this can be pretty painful for Phase 2 now that they've lost control of point B.
I know that was a good joke because you kept on laughing even during the engagement. You were still chuckling. I heard it while you were trying to cast. You were trying to play-by-play, and you were still laughing.
Me. I can't believe you boomed me.
That's why I know I'm a comedic genius there. Phase 2, losing that last engage, not getting the most out of their combo. Atlanta's still holding strong. Will have the beat. They don't have the trance, though, so Nishik does have that advantage. See Phase 2 dropping. They're not going to just play the spam game here, trying to pressure cart. And look at Hawk's position. I really like Hawk's position.
No, Hawk is just powering through right now, the man. And now, the finisher, the self-destruct to the side, catches Olu. Might be good enough here for Atlanta. The barrier's in. They're looking for the last little bit of cleanup. Duplicate, taking a microwave to the face. Hawk, the cannons there to the side. And this is good positioning for Atlanta. They're playing point B very, very well.
Really smart positioning for Hawk there. I like that where you're playing so split, and you know that phase 2 can't really do that much about you unless they're going to go for the rotation or send their own diva to send Pika to fight him. He's just dealing tons of damage, trying to break barrier, and have a great defensive bomb from phase 2's engagement from that high ground. So smart play for Atlanta right now. Still holding on to second. Phase 2 coming up on some ults. They did trade those beats there. Atlanta, though, probably going to be looking for that grab.
Perfect. Pretty close. Hawk a ways away. So it's likely going to be grab for Transcendence here, as is tradition.
Another one.
That's
another one on the album, the tempo grab.
Well, the Graviton going to be coming out here. Perfect. Only on Tizo's phase 2's Graviton, and going to be forcing out a response from Atlanta. Meanwhile, here comes Graviton in from Perfect. Nishik going with Transcendence. Keeping phase 2 in it. Pika self-destruct up. Hawk self-destruct as well. Booms all across. But nothing coming of it. Both teams still totally okay. Ajax in the fray of things here. Gonna fall out of position and down. And phase 2 coming out ahead of this very long melee.
Very long fight, but a lot of ults used for both teams. And definitely the better engagement for phase 2, considering that Gator he was charging around, trying to move, trying to get this pins, and gets caught. Now Duplicate will have Shatter. Onyx ahead in the grab, a significant grab advantage here. So if they can just sort of get that barrier held out of the way, I think Duplicate will be in a great position.
And again, drop on down. Final opportunity here. 4-point B. Duplicate. Again, we take a look here. Shield under pressure. Shatter in reserve. Shield not broken here just yet. Heavy damage going in. And this is a cornered Rhine. Often dangerous. Graviton in. Transcendence moving in for Atlanta, keeping her alive. Duplicate hasn't dropped the Shatter here just yet. Gets knocked back. Drops the Shatter. Perfect gets hit, but plenty of protection for him there. Atlanta, they just get to shrug it on off.
Not a lot, but I think phase 2 need to recognize their support ult advantage right
Gator,
now. They need to be aggressive.
They can be aggressive, but also Gator. Shatter up on his own, gonna drop it, knocks down 2 Duplicates out of there, sets up Hawk. The bomb connects on Nishik. Pika, the counter bomb on the other side, but not quite cutting as deep. A minute 20 left, and Atlanta is holding strong.
They recognize their advantage there, but they still haven't cleaned up these players, but they dropped the solo grab onto Onyx late in the fight. They just dropped the solo grab. It's like, enough is enough. I'm dropping it. The cleanup there are very risky, and phase 2 I think made the right play trying to be aggressive with their support ult, but that was a great Shatter from Gator setting up the bomb for Hawk.
Perfect's entirely excessive grab towards the end. I mean, the last words out of him to Onyx were, "I don't like your face." Not really much of more of an explanation for the grab there towards the end, but it is what it is.
And now phase 2 are still in a pretty good spot because Onyx has that grab ad. Sauce will have the trance soon, but even if they force the trance early, they'll still be in a great spot.
But let's use our powers to curse Onyx here. What if the grab is eaten? What if Hawk just gets in his face and goes, "I know you have grab, but why don't you give it to me?
I mean, that is definitely a possibility, but it's not happening. Grab out, trance out. Nishik is probably going to drop that trance afterwards, but Onyx is already down.
Onyx out of the fight. Transcendence keeping Atlanta totally fine. Grab or no. Duplicate dropping the Shatter.
They decide to commit.
Perfect's on the ground, but it's not going to be enough. Gator counter shatters, and Hawk's boom.
I mean, I guess they have to commit. This is the last fight.
Yeah, they had to go in. One way or another.
They had to commit, but that trance needed to come out a little bit sooner. You couldn't afford to lose anyone there. So, I mean, phase 2, they had the advantages, but they just couldn't get they couldn't get the trance off in time. That's number 2 on the Billboard on the hot charts for Overwatch League album here for 3-3.
It's a very
my trance is too late to save my Rhine.
I mean, this feels like a very soulful, somewhat emotional album right now. The great breakups of Overwatch League.
Yeah, it's just like I used beat too early before grab bomb combo, so I lose. That's up there. That's more of an R&B melody. There's just a lot of hits on that list, all very recognizable.
Some teams, I'm on the bench, my team keeps going down, down, down.
Yeah, that's another classic. It's another classic as well. Always very fun. We're in what, week 4, week 5 of Contenders?
I want to say it's week 4. Right? Yeah, I think
week 4. Okay, so I mean, we also have a bonus track. It's like it's week 4 of Contenders and Atlanta still doesn't have a flex support player.
It's not even lyrical. It's just like fact.
It's just a classic. Always love that bonus album being released. So very, very good stuff here from Contenders Radio.
And then there's just no. you could look to Contenders Korea and you look at Runaway and they're just playing like, you know, the 1812 Overture with cannons as they're just like dominating everyone as God Slayers.
Yeah, it's very good stuff there. And now we're moving in to Atlanta's offense here. More than likely going to be playing the 3-3 with the Rhine. Phase 2 also looking like they're going to be playing the defense here with Duplicate on the Rhine, the mirror, holding close on the corner. Atlanta Academy getting ready to roll out.
So for Atlanta, they don't have far to go, but we've seen teams struggle in similar situations. In Phase 2, you want to get real up close and personal here. The spawn doors are open, and Duplicate here is here to greet you.
I think that's the right play. I think they know they don't have a lot of time. You need to get the most out of it. 3-3 is really good at those aggressive defensive holds. Exactly what needs to be happening.
Welcome to Gibraltar. Can I help you with your shopping experience here today?
Phase 2, here comes the engage. Bubble used.
And
Duplicate.
goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Duplicate is ignored. They grab the shopping cart and they power on past the greeting, falling on incredible deaf ears.
And that's going to be the first fight going the way of Atlanta. Gator also very far ahead in Shadow game right now. Moving the cart, but Phase 2, because they held so aggressively, it's not going to be, they'll have time for another contest. They have plenty of time for another contest, potentially even 2. If they lose the fight after that.
They definitely have time. I mean, one thing they're going to have to be pretty wary of is that Duplicate was just immediately plowed over as if it was Black Friday and nowhere to go. Just people wanting to get their TVs. So 20% right now for Duplicate. Gator about to have Shatter.
See now, Phase 2, they're holding the cart though. They've forced them back. Look at all the shield presence onto Gator. The Atlanta can't really engage right now.
Well, it also stops Gator from getting the Shatter up quite as quickly. Lets Duplicate equalize a little bit, but guess what? Shatter is up. Gator's shield under a bit of pressure. Atlanta getting forced back, and finally Gator going to be dropping the Shatter. Doesn't get what he's looking for.
No, does not. A lot of presence onto Pika right now. You see the rally out for Sugar Free grab for Onyx. No combo though.
Both Rhines out of the fight, still winnable here for Atlanta. Perfect, holding on to the grab of his own.
Well, now at Phase 2, they've lost it. Solely, literally, they've lost the tempo fight. No other ults coming out for Atlanta either. They did have to commit that trance, keep everyone alive. Atlanta still moving forward. Phase 2 will have another recontest. This is the value of taking all these aggressive fights. Phase 2 have yet another recontest moving forward, but something to look out for is the combo for Atlanta. Perfect. Yeah. Hawk, they're going to combine here fast. He's had that beat.
Graviton out, and oh, nice angle for the bomb right to the backhand side. Only gets fast, but that might be enough. You can see the self-destruct move on in. Atlanta, they do have to invest the barrier, but they just want to be sure. And sure they will be. Point B will be theirs for the taking here. Point A in the past.
Gator's Shatter just guaranteeing the fight there. Give me the late frag coming out onto Faz. And right now, Atlanta are still in a really great spot. 4 minutes, a little over 4 minutes for the second push. They have double support ult coming up. Phase 2, they need to win. They need to stabilize here. They need to get something of value. They've been having great stall, but you can't just stall and lose every fight. You need to win a fight.
Well, I mean, you can stall for a long time, but there has to be one point where you win. The problem is their stall hasn't been good enough to even be like, well, we just have to win one fight. It's like, no, you probably need to win at least 2 to 3.
Saucy getting bashed and picked off, though.
That's a big pick off, but can Olu get away? Olu's going to fall, but Gator ends up falling in turn. Chases perhaps a little bit too heavily. Phase 2, they get the stabilization they're looking for. Now they must work off of it. 3.5 minutes to burn through here.
Finally getting that stabilization. So important for Phase 2. Building up to another grab. And Atlanta, they recognize that. And really, once again, they're in the presence of, you know, we have a win condition. It's all about how do we pace our ult economy properly to exploit that win condition.
Atlanta, they still have plenty of time. But of course, point B here in Gibraltar can be tricky for teams to figure out a good way of cracking through. Gator can be eating a lot of damage, but now he's just angry. Earth Shatter right in. Oh man, he was mad. 3 knockdown from the Shatter. Transcends from Nishik though, gonna equalize, but the problem is they had the Transcend early to deal with it. Now on the other side, Graviton out. Saucy gonna Transcend later in the fight. Self-destruct in here from Hawk, off Perfect's grab. Onyx out of the fight. And Gator's early Shatter forcing out the Transcendence. So good for Atlanta.
Onyx just made the worst mistake of his life. That was potentially still winnable, or at least Phase 2 would have a great recontest coming in, but Onyx peeks the corner too early and dies to Perfect's bomb. I don't know if that was intentional, because it did not at all look intentional.
Well, now the box of victory right there in front of Atlanta, looking to put the series to bed. Duplicate comes over.
Saucy down,
Shatter gets 2. that's enough. Gator, Shadow the other way. Gonna be knocking down Faz and Olu. Winnable here for Atlanta. The barrier coming in. Pika, a bomb on a whim and a prayer. Not quite gonna get what he wants. Instead, charge into the back. That mech getting beaten up always. And it's gonna be Atlanta. They power on through. They're gonna get Gibraltar and the series. And it's 3-1. Probably not 3-1 that they're gonna be feeling super great about, but a 3-1 nonetheless. Atlanta, they take it. Phase 2 dispatched. And at the end of the day, it is a win in the column for Atlanta Academy.
Yeah, they are picking up the series 3-1. I mean, so I mean, a respectable map score, but like you said, nothing that they want to feel super confident in, but still good that they picked up the map. Phase 2 looking strong at points, but still overall, it's clear that they, there's a reason why they're the lower seeds in their group. They're just not the same level right now. A lot of it just comes to the coordination issues. I don't even necessarily think it's necessarily individual skill. It's really just the team play in particular. But that's going to be Atlanta picking up that win, securing their spots in playoffs with that. And still probably going to do some bot review.
Yeah, I mean, credit where credit's due to Atlanta at the very least is that they did get better over the course of the series. I mean, I'd say that the first half was really incredibly rough. I mean, it was not clean Overwatch. They made things a bit better as time went on. I don't think they're quite at the level where they used to be at, but look, this team can turn it around. I think the good thing for Atlanta here is that they have time to do so. And again, I mean, let's not overlook Phase 2, or yes, Phase 2 had a lot of plays I think they would have liked to have taken back, but to your point, they do have good players in Phase 2. It's just they're not putting it all together at the same time. I still am pretty bullish about Duplicate going forward into the future. But,
I agree.
Overall, 3-3, it's a pretty punishing meta. Small mistakes look like even bigger mistakes under the Magnoscope. I've now...
The Magnoscope,
The Magnoscope.
Welcome to the Magnoscope.
Well, this is your Remarculous moment that you've done to me.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
What a Remarculous Magnoscope.
Why can we not English? It's pretty fantastic.
It's been a long day. And some wild matches overall. We got a little silly and crazy, but it was still good for Atlanta. And also, it's just the problem for Phase 2. It's like, it is a relatively rookie squad. Sure, some have been in Contenders before, but comparatively to Atlanta, it's definitely not the same level of experience. It's definitely not the same level of, top-tier results so far. So they do have some time to go to improve, to, get better.
So standings here as we wrap up the day, in case you're wondering just where everyone is at. Envy, what more can you say? Dominance. Four series wins, 12 map differential.
And who could believe that Sky Foxes is second in the group after not winning a single map at Contenders last season?
I just woke up from a coma from last season.
Where is my favorite winless team?
Yeah, I got news for you. They got wins.
New song. Sky Foxes is good. Sky Foxes is good. New song of the album. Our Matt, one of our producers, whispered that in our ear. Good suggestion, Matt.
Oh, fantastic. Well, and then you take a look. Square One, obviously the most promising team from Trials. They've been doing well. NRG, just basically NRG. Like, this is the NRG spot. It's like, they're going to limp in, be top 4. They'll be good, but will they get to the end? We'll see. Atlanta, it's been a little bit rougher for them. XL2, rather significant decline, but also they